Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's another one for journal, really. I keep on making these, but I've been uploading stuff just unlisted because I end up more sending messages for my family and, for my little girl to see, really, when she's older and things like that. So I've just been putting a lot of stuff unlisted. Just, it's not intentional. I wing everything that I say. Just I end up sort of like saying, my true thoughts on things, and just like I say, I've just been making it unlisted because the public don't really want to or don't need to hear a lot of it. So I'm going to try and keep this one non-family related. So basically, just a little update. As I said, I'd started this channel just kind of to keep a bit of a diary, journal/diary type thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been feeling a little bit down in the last week or two, but honestly, I've got no reason to feel down, other than the obvious. But like, stuff's, touch wood, going the way it should do. So, like I say, I haven't really got a reason to feel down really at the moment. So basically, catching up. Try to think how to word this without like going on about family stuff. Basically, I'll start after. So basically, how do I explain? Last week I was in family court, right? So I'm going to start after that, right? So I were on a bit of a natural high from that. So, we're really, really feeling positive once I come out of that. And I think that's the reason why I'm feeling down now, because obviously when you have a high, you need to come down. So basically, it's just like normal, I guess. I no longer use substances. I still smoke cigarettes, and that's my next goal is to stop cigarettes. In fact, I've written a list of goals, and my mum's just been round and spilt something on them. I need to keep a proper journal, as you can see. This is just on like scrappy bits of paper, and I've always sort of done that, and a lot of the time they just end up all over the place and I don't read them. So in fact, number one is get a journal. so I'm going to buy a journal, like a journal writing, not my video journal. So let's have a look. So number one is buy a journal. Number two is stop smoking. Then learn to cook, eat healthy, fruit, veg, meat, etc. So that's one of my goals. My other one is number four is keep fit, and number five is family related. Number six is start eating healthy, which is actually number three. Number seven is to learn math and start reading, because my maths is a bit rubbish. I can measure up and do angles and general math, but like it needs scrubbing up, does my math. And I could really do with what's the word, not necessarily finding a teacher, but like finding the right information that I can understand to learn it. And then number 8 so far, I've got to make some business connections and start up in business. So like I don't know what as such yet, but I've got multiple skills. So especially when I'm not using cannabis, for example, because I've had a problem with that for a number of years, and I feel that that's really held me back in life. And now that I've managed to overcome that habit, I find myself doing a lot of practical work. Like I can do once I put my mind to something, I can do all sorts. Up at my mum's house, I've been doing quite a bit of like electrician work and bits of plumbing and even a little bit of like roofing work type stuff. So I'm a bit of a jack of all trades when it comes to trade type stuff. But as you can see, I'm 39. I'm getting older, so I don't want to be necessarily doing that kind of graft for the next 20 years or so, basically. So I'm trying to work out, what businesses to set up, basically, and getting into business now. Because I've done music for so long, um, I'm not bad in that area too, and I own a lot of music equipment, enough to run a couple of clubs simultaneously if I wanted. So there's an area that I was thinking of, and like not necessarily like the artist side of things. Like I've pursued that whilst I was a stoner basically, and never really had major success breaking through onto like the music scene. Um, I don't know if that's because my music's just whack, or if it's just because people haven't opened up to check my stuff out or what, or whether it's advertising or whatever. I don't know if that's the reason, but what I'm thinking is more hiring equipment out type business or something like that. So anyway, that's me notes so far. With me smoking, I did try to quit smoking about 2 days back or something, and I did roughly half a day and then caved in a bit. So, not so, maybe that's adding to me feeling a bit fed up today. But, I'm not going to let the goal go. I plan to be stopped by next year at least. So not only stopped, but so that my cravings are gone by then. So I need to be stopping now, really, basically. I assume so that my cravings aren't bad next year. What else? I was just thinking something and it's gone now. Oh, I've been with the keeping fit. I have been doing little bits of exercise, nothing major, just couple of press ups, couple of sit ups every day. Well, not every day, but every other day. And I plan to pursue it further. I plan to do. Plan to join. There's a gym I plan to join over in Scarborough. Not like a working out gym. I just don't want to mention publicly what my plans are with my keeping fit thing because I've got too much at stake to tell the world, what I'm doing, basically. Not up to anything or anything like that, but people get the wrong end of the stick if you mention what I'm planning. So yeah, basically, keeping fit. Let's just say self-defense stuff, right? And what else? Then on the other hand, I've got gratitude for all sorts of things. In fact, I've been doing a gratitude thing. So I mean, I haven't been keeping up to it, writing it down. I mean, I've been, I always have gratitude, but like I haven't been keeping up to my gratitude notes. This is from North Yorkshire Horizons because I've been going there since I've stopped using cannabis. Think I've done roughly, I would say, 7 or 8 months without cannabis and had one relapse during that time where I was using it for like a month and a half. So whatever that works out. So basically, with my gratitude thing, when I first started writing into it. The first one I wrote so that I don't have to write it every day. Well, every day I have gratitude for life and good health. And then I've put, I'm just having a quick scan through because I haven't read this really. Then I've put, today I visited my mum, so gratitude for seeing her, and gratitude every day that I have my mum, and for her health and well-being. I also attempted to, oh yeah, that's more family stuff, to do with me court thing, so I'm not going to mention that one. And then the next one where I'd seen my mum again. Oh, my niece. I remember that one. I took my niece to the park, which was lovely. Every time I see my nieces, it's beautiful, Same with my daughter, for that matter, it, don't even know what to say, but basically, yeah, huge love to my family, all of them, basically. And since I mentioned Horizons, I'd like to give a big shout out to Joe from Horizons. What do they call the lady? There's also a lass called Rachel, who's my like the person that I deal with every time I go in near enough. But it's basically I'd like to give a special shout to Joe, because basically Joe put me on to Horizons in the first place, and I did a urine sample for my substance sort of thing, which I passed and stuff, and basically, I mean, I knew I would pass it, By the time I'd gotten into Horizons, I'd pretty much already kicked my habit, so I'm there for like relapse prevention. So basically, yeah, Joe had written me, what do they call it? It's not a statement, it's a support letter. He'd written me a support letter, and it were really, really helpful. It was mentioned when I, did my court stuff. So that, huge respect. Cheers, buddy. Thank you. Can't thank you enough. It means the world to me, this support, and I'd like to give a big shout out to my very, very few friends that are supportive. I have got like a handful of friends that are true friends. I've noticed over the years I've lost many friends. Now I don't know whether or not that's me because I'm a dick or something, or if it's because I seem to have lost them whilst I were in my depressed state. Most of my friends, anyway, that are no longer with me. Basically, I lost whilst I was depressed, which was about 10 years ago, so it happened some time ago now. But I do have those few very true friends that have stuck with me through thick and thin. So you all know who you are, and big ups to yourselves, because I see it and I appreciate it with all of my life, I'm picking myself up. I'm now a dad, so I have to have responsibility, which is why I need to learn to cook and do all the usual grown-up stuff now, basically, in life. Instead of being a little boy, I guess, I've had long enough to prat around doing what I like, so, now I've got responsibility. I'm currently not able to see my little one, but again, I don't want to get into the family things, that's for my family. But it's, I'm gonna, she's my kid, so I am gonna see my kid. And, there's no reason why I shouldn't do either, So I'm just going to put that out there and leave that there. So yeah, so my keeping fit plan, these have been helping me a lot. Licorice sticks, and I'm wondering whether or not to start with like nicotine patches and the inhalator thing, because I really am struggling to kick the habit of smoking cigs. I've been smoking really heavy, I'd say at least 40 plus I've been smoking. And what do you call it? Lately, just since the other day when I'd done like half a day not smoking, I think today, for example, I've smoked about 10, maybe 15. So that's a huge drop in the amount, the rates I've been smoking. So it's progress, but it's, I've got a long way to go with it. I plan to stop, completely. I've got a vape, and I'm quite happy to use the vape. There's all this, don't swap it for the vape and this and that. But you see, I see vapes as a quitting smoking tool. I don't see them as like a, trade one habit for the other type tool, because what's the point, I think if you're a smoker and you try to stop and you're gonna use a vape, try to see it as a tool to help you stop smoking, similar to an inhalator or whatever they're called. But don't. The key is to not stay on the vape. Basically, once you get rid of your smoking cravings, I'd say give up with the vape. That's when you focus on giving up the vape, basically. But I'm not that far down the line yet, so I'm not trying to be hypocritical to anybody that's done that. My mum's done that, for example. My mum smoked cigs for about 40 years, and when she stopped, she's basically used a vape ever since, and still does. We keep on making like little promises to each other that, or she makes promises to me rather, that when I stop smoking cigs, she'll stop the vape. Although, to be fair, she did say that when I said, when I stopped cannabis, and, but, her habit is her habit, and it's, I understand addictions basically to an extent, I guess. But I've known people that take all kinds of substances, and yeah, I'd like to say I have quite a good understanding of what it's like to be an addict. And cannabis isn't the only thing I've been addicted to in my lifetime either. When I was really young, I used to have real bad problems with like coke and stuff. Not crack, but like cocaine. Only for a short period of time though, because I got into bother for it when I was young. And I remember when I got out of the cells just thinking, right, enough's enough with that. And when I first kicked that habit, the first month were quite difficult, maybe a month and a half. But once I'd overcome that period of time, I got I didn't really want to get into it again because I knew how addictive it were. And that's how I'm now feeling with cannabis. It's just taken me longer to get over it because I've done it for longer in my life, I think. So, with cannabis, I did it, I think I started at about 16 roughly, and I've only just stopped this year. So, like, I'm now 39, so basically, how long's that? See what I mean? My maths needs sorting out. But, yeah, just getting onto a bit of a rant really, I don't know. But, like I say, it's my little video journal diary thing. And, it's not really intended to be like this big famous YouTube account or all. It's just me and my life, and a lot of things I've missed out on in life, for example, documenting it. much of my younger stuff, like I used to be into my trials riding as a kid, and I got quite good at it. But back then, technology weren't where it is now, so a lot of that stuff has been lost through like not having the cameras of today, for example, and things like that. Same thing with like my traveling in my lifetime, and what else? And then somewhere along the lines, I got kind of camera shy, and so I've got these big gaps in my life where there's no photos of me, there's no videos of me, things like that, and I kind of regret a lot of that. So I'm trying to make the most out of things like that, those kind of opportunities now. Um, so especially when it comes to family and friends, I want to have good memories to look back on and things like that, and even partners. Like most of my partners I've had in my life, I still get along with whenever I see them. Like generally speaking, tend to keep things amicable, and I've only had two instances that I can think of off the top of my head where it hasn't panned out like that. One happens to be my baby mama for some reason. Although we did keep things amicable for like about a year, roughly a year, because I'm going into family stuff again now. But basically, we split shortly after my daughter was born, and we managed to keep things amicable for quite a while, and a few things sort of took place, and a lot of which, personally, I don't feel were my fault. Now, I know I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect, you know what I mean? But basically, I've been blamed for a lot of stuff that weren't even in my, what's the word? My, control, basically. And I've had concerns the other way too, so, but like I say, I'm not going to delve into them. But basically, life's short, and time to me is one of the most precious things that we have. Time and health and well-being, and things like financial things and stuff. Yeah, in a capitalist society, you do need money, but time and health come before that to me, and time is something that you can never get back, basically. As Jim Rohn says, every day wasted, or I think every hour wasted, is time you can never get back. So, I'm very, very mindful of that, especially because of my stage where I was depressed. I dwelled on it, and it took me about 10 years to come out of that state of mind. And like I say, I'd lost a lot of friends by the time I did, because I'd become a bit of a hermit, and I just didn't interact, and just gradually all my friends disappeared and did their own thing, which it's pretty sad, but it leaves me so I know who my true friends are. And basically, back then I used to think that I had loads of friends. I used to think I was like Mr. Popular, but I've realised that when shit hits the fan, a lot of them people they're not there for you anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I'm on the up. I'm looking after myself. I'm focusing on myself. Still focusing on my friends that are there, because it's made me so that I understand them bonds better, and same with my family. And yeah, just try to get into shape and eat healthy, and pick up new skills that I've never had in the past and things like that. So yeah, if you've been watching my little ramble, big ups and one love, and it's up to you whether or not you want to like and subscribe. So peace. Mwah.